Hey, you guys, it's your girl Latanya Vibes. How y'all doing? How you feeling? We made it to motherfucking Friday, so clap it up for yourself for one. But for two, drop in the comments how that week turned out. If you can encompass your week to one word, what would you say the whole overall theme of the week is? Drop it in the comments. So, as y'all can tell, I definitely look like how my week ended, which is I'm tumble dried, baby. I'm tumble dried. Okay, lie died and laid to the side at this point. But I wouldn't say that it's in vain. I would say it's definitely like I feel like I sowed some seeds, right? And I kind of wanted to hop on, right? Because I mean, I'm about to go pick my little ones up, right, in a few seconds. But also, I was just like, let me slow down for the collective. Let me drop some knowledge and some gems on the motherfucker. All right, and so here we are. Today's message is don't let God tell you twice. And I'm gonna give like a short story about like something that happened to me recently. For one, I felt like it was God allowing the spiritual warfare to still do His will, which is when they say like even whenever something seems like it's coming to attack you, it's genuinely not. It's for your good. And that's literally what I speak over my life every day. That's what I speak over my kids' life and just people I encounter. Like that everything that even if it's something negative right now, that it be for their good and his will. And so basically last week or 2 weeks ago now, I think, my kids went to go spend the rest of the summer break with their dad before school started. And I was overwhelmed. I'm talking about like not really overwhelmed because I kind of felt numb through the shit. It's like one of those I get tunnel vision, I lock in and I do what needs to be done. I don't care about how I feel, you feel, we feel, none of that shit. Okay. It's like I got to get it done. So I lock in. So I kind of was numb through it, but I just numbed myself to get through what I needed to get through. I needed to get through finals week so I can close out summer. I was starting a new like department at my job, and that stuff is a situation in its own. Family stuff popped up, not nothing too major, bro. Because once you learn the art of detachment, is it really too much? No. Okay, so moving on. My kids normally are just like that driving force that even if it's a shitty time, I normally can pull through and it does not bother me. So now my kids are gone. My kids are with their dad. And you would have thought somebody kidnapped my kids. How I acted those first 24 hours, babe. I'm talking about I felt my heart get broken. Like, you remember your first heartbreak? Think about that happening 3 times because it's 3 individual people at one time. Okay. So I knew that how it came about. I kind of knew it was like an attack from the enemy, but it was like, really, dog? Like, you really choosing that out of all things? Cool. I got you on the flip side. Okay. So, boom. It's the next day. The kids are picked up. Classes is finished. You would think that in those moments is when I would have like had this situation occurred. No, it happened after everything. So after everything came to a close, right? I forced myself to go to Bible study, which is something like I've been holding to myself to commit to. Up. Show up on Wednesdays, show up on Sundays, show up all week at work. Like just show up. Right. And it's a good thing to, build that discipline and commitment, but also there comes like a duality and a balance with it. And I was not given balance. So Wednesday, I go to church, and I remember when I get in there, it's like not the normal average church sermon. It's like get it like, no, I think that yeah, it was women's week, so women were together and the men were together. And I love a good Bible study whenever it's just giving sermon. I do not want to talk. It's Wednesday. I just got off work. I'm overstimulated. I know it, but I'm still trying to show up for the Lord. So I go in there and they're kind of like some of the sisters come up and they check on me. They're like, hey, like, why are you sitting all the way by yourself? And I'm like, listen, I love myself and I also love y'all enough. I'm gonna start communicating. So I'm like, listen, when I first come in, I normally just sit with myself, gather myself, and then I join their group when it's time. Now we're in the group. We're doing icebreakers. And we're doing it with a few women that I've seen a few times that I was like, I definitely would love to talk to them, like just have a conversation with them. But that day was not the day that I had in mind that we were going to align, babe. But God said, so let there be light. So we're aligning. And they're telling me things, they're dropping gems. even gave me the next two books I was going to read. So I was just like, okay. And I'm proud of myself because I'm like, normally, especially when I am overstimulated, I can't pull myself in to do it. But then here comes my body showing the fuck out. I know. Okay. I'm sorry about that. So I go into church, we're having conversation in the midst of us like getting to know you, doing the questions. One of the sisters looks at me and goes, "Sis, are you good?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Now internally, I'm feeling a little woozy, but I'm just one of those prideful motherfuckers that I just cannot share when I'm down. So I'm up in my, I'm up. Sister could have offered prayer right then and there, but I'm up, up. So boom, I'm like, no, I'm good. And then she's like, okay. Next thing you know, she goes, sis, okay, let me at least just get you some water. Now the room is hot. The AC kicks on, so there's no way that the room is actually hot. I'm hot. My body temperature is rising. Okay. And guess what? My heart rate was dropping. Didn't even know that until, further on. So I take the water and I'm like, there's no way. Like, I drink water all the time. I ate my meals before I came in here, 3 meals today. So there's no fucking way. There's more, some days that I go through it that I don't eat. Like, I will literally survive off water and vibes. So that's why I was just like, out of all the days I eat 3 meals, I'm hydrated. Now I'm feeling woozy. So this has happened in the past, but this happened previously last year around this time, but it happened on my birthday. And it was because I knew that somebody had evil eye against me. Like, they just didn't have the best intentions. And I was feeling it. They were speaking word curses, honey. And I was aware, but I was like, you know what, God, I can coexist. I live in your favor. He said, guess what? I'm about to show you, sis. So I definitely, learned from that lesson and I got the fuck up through. So this time I'm just kind of like, I'm not expecting it to be that because I'm like, I'm not around people. So sis gives me the water. I'm not doing better. I try to do a quick grab my stuff. And I'm like, y'all, I'm about to go to the bathroom real quick. Tell the group, I'm going to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. Sisters was like, gotcha. We see what you're doing. If you don't come back in 5 minutes, can we come check on you? Ow! Not my pride getting shot like that. Pop, pop. I said, you know what? Fine. Yes. So as I'm about to walk out, as I'm getting mad that they want to check on me, I stand up and I start to feel lightheaded. She says, do you want me to get the nurse? Nurse! Nurse! Nurse is like, she's like, all right, let's go sit out here in the hallway. I don't want to cause no scene. We in a sanctuary. I don't want to cause no scene. Send me to the back. So they take me out. Next thing you know, nurse comes and I'm in tears by this point. And what people think I was in tears for was not why I was in tears. I was in tears because I knew what was happening, for one. For two, I knew why it was happening. And for three, I knew this was all spiritual that's manifested in the physical right now. And I kind of didn't want y'all to meet me in no spiritual battle, which is why I was trying to stay my distance. But clearly, God has other plans. And now he got me looking weak in front of y'all, and I don't even know y'all. And this is how y'all meeting me. This is your first, like, what do people say under that? This is my first impression of you. Me spiritually attacked. So I'm out there, and they were like, "Okay, Latanya, what do you want to do?" I said, "Listen, I could just go home. I don't need to go to the hospital because at this point now I'm very, very much prideful and I'm independent. I know that if I leave my car, that means that's a whole nother process tomorrow. And I just want to go to work. I am in this new department. I can't fuck up off of this. And you know what, Satan, get behind thee because I feel like now you're trying to make me look weak in front of a lot of motherfuckers. And I ain't no weak motherfucker." So I was like, let me just drive home. So then one of the sisters was like, okay, I'm driving behind you. I said, I live all the way in Altamont. She was like, is there a special pass or something you need to go there, or permit? I was like, no. She's like, okay, then I'm following you. I was like, all right, bet. So they check my pulse. My pulse is dropping. Next thing you know, they realize I start crying again. I'm crying in and out. But I know every time I would cry, I would start coughing, which would help my pulse come up. And so all I know is one of the sisters, which I hate when people do this when I'm already sad. What's wrong, sis? I literally whispered to where they couldn't hear me, but at least I said something. It's all in my mind. It's in my mind. And so I try to get up. I get to my car. Basically, the other sis gets to her car. All the other sisters, they go back to a sermon, right? As I get to get my car, I'm acting like things is cool. I went to go put my GPS on. Next thing you know, sick, sick. Pastor come pulling to the front. Sisters come, GI J running to me, and I'm pissed because why did you just throw up in the parking lot? You're not even well enough to clean it. This is in my mind. They're not asking me to clean. They're not worried about it. They're not like this is again in my mind, and I'm just like, fuck. Like you should have took rest. You should have did this. You should have did that. Because like all week, I had knew that I needed to slow down. I knew that I needed to take a moment. I knew I needed to take a beat and a good nap. I love a good nap. I've been going 5, 6 weeks without my afternoon naps, y'all. Of course, my body's ready to shut down. I'm anemic. Of course, you ain't eating 3 meals like that. 3 meals out of that whole week, ma'am. That's not even enough iron to refill the back end. But I digress. So I literally take myself to the hospital. I basically was like, you know what, sis, I'll go to the hospital. It's down the street. They set me up, GPS, everything. Sis is right behind me. Behind me. We get to the thing, the ER. They hook me up and stuff. I'm throwing up. I'm getting more pissed because why are you making a fool of yourself, Latanya? Because growing up and even being an adult, I've never been in a space where I can be vulnerable where people don't take offense to it because it doesn't interfere with it. But I'm in a space where God had taught me rest. God had taught me the importance of that. And He has now put me around people who understand that and also care enough to make sure that I make it there. And so I basically sit in the hospital and I'm there for a few hours. And as I'm sitting there, ooh, sis is with me the whole time. And I'm looking at her like, I'm giving her all the excuses. You know, you can just go. Like, I'm good now with the doctors. And she was like, sis, you never leave someone in the hospital by themselves. You always need a rep, which of course she's a nurse, so you know, but it's just like she could have been doing anything, right? And in that, she is, as I'm resting, she's discipling to me about my entire life. She saved me like 10 years of my life because not only was she, which God knows I love a good birthday. If it's close to my birthday, I'll listen. If it ain't, and also like people say, I want to listen to the people who actually are moving and walking in the way that I want to be. I'm not listening to somebody who I don't want their life. I don't want their walk. I don't want their like I don't want nobody's anything, but I'm saying I don't, and they don't inspire me to move accordingly, you know, or correction. And so as I'm sitting there, this woman, her birthday is literally a day before mine, and she's just like telling me about her life, and it's crazy because it felt like I was listening to a mirror image of my own life. And she told me everything and how it's going to turn out if I continue. She also told me how these people are going to turn out even after 10, 20 years. These people never change. Just letting y'all know. She let us know that. She let me know that. I'm letting y'all know the people in your life that you are fighting for to change, they're not. It's going to be 60 more years and you're going to have so many more evolutions, and they're going to be the same person that they were in the first, y'all's first meeting, y'all's first walk, right? Like your first level, for real, for real. And so as she's like discipling to me, she makes sure I get out. They check me out and they let me know literally there's nothing wrong. You might be dehydrated. Baby, the pulse was dropping. There was so many things going on that I just knew at that point. I was confirmation for me that it was a spiritual attack. And this is a message for somebody that feel like needs to hear this, especially when you don't want to admit that your validation is tied to other people. But when you have been a people pleaser for so long and you're coming out of it, and you also are, you know, on that accountability tip, it's okay to point out when some things that you were doing are only out of the validation of others and you're still running yourself ragged. And I was. And I ended up in that situation where I needed people. And guess what? The people I needed were not the people that always are like depending on me. And the people that normally I would have called in that situation, I didn't feel the need to call because I'm moving. I'm with the movers and the shakers. With the movers and the shakers now. But I say all that to say, once I got home and I sat with it, my brother had told me something a few months back or a few seasons back that stuck with me. And it was stop posting everything. And sometimes when you're posting something, you think it's so minute, but to other people, it's like why do they why do they deserve that? Why do you believe what's something special about them that they get to walk that life, or they get to walk that walk, or they get those opportunities? And so I remember whenever there was a certain season of my life that things were actually opening up and there was the foundations being laid. My brother told me, my little brother Kelvion told me, stop posting. I don't care what it is, even if it's something so small to you, you think, stop posting. Don't let nobody know what's going on. Allow them to speculate. And when I did, let me tell you how many doors unlocked, how many delays that I kept running into completely fell off. And that's kind of just like the message for today. Like, once I cut those people off, I was able to find out what that season of rest looks like. I was able to realize when I need that. So I knew the warning signals, which is why I responded emotionally when it happened, because it was like, you've been through this. I ran myself ragged last year when I was doing that, and I was trying to appease everybody. And then when it was time to celebrate me, I didn't have enough to pour into me, and the people that I was expecting to pour into me, because I spent those whole months just pouring years, months, depending on how long I had these entanglements, alignments, and connections, right? They just was draining me. And then when it was time to pour into myself, there was a full empty cup, because I normally have a little bit on that backflow. You know how when you run out of gas, you want to E, right? The lights on, ain't no numbers. You got 30 miles. Now that 30 miles, how far can you really go before you really need to tap into that gas station? Only you know. I can't tell you how to maneuver your car. I mean, I see that light on. I think that's time to get that gas. But I'm saying, like, that's my point. Is there's so many times where my light been on, and there was no one to tell me that that signal was on, and I was ignoring it. And God checked me so quick last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever week that was. And not only did he check me, but he loved me through it because of how I was choosing to maneuver with it. I submitted to the rest. If I would have went home right after like work or whatever that day, I could have had that whole same scenario, health scare happen, but at home and alone. And who was gonna pick me up and take me to that hospital? And then I find out about the hospitals that was near me, and people was telling me how those was moving. I said, "Oh yeah, that was nothing but divine alignment. Nothing but divine alignment." So today, I just need you to sit with yourself and ask yourself where you really are. Because I'm gonna be honest, I do my best work when I actually have a cup to fill from, and I feel my best doing it, and I enjoy doing it. Whenever I have something that I've been working on, but I didn't drain myself because I keep feeling like even this week after I almost passed out at Wednesday Bible study, I did press it and went to church the next week. I went to church Bible church the church picnic, and then I turned around and went to Bible study. But like this week, babe, I went Sunday and say we're done. We gonna clock in with y'all next week on Sunday. But we're done. And the crazy thing was the message that happened. The lady was given the sermon, or the pastor was given the day that I passed out. As I'm sitting in the hallway crying, you need to know when to rest. I said, well, dang, ain't this the sermon I should be sitting in? And then this coming Sunday, as I was rushing and trying to get everything set up for fall, about to put myself back in that same situation, I turned around and the next pastor had the sermon about it again. I said, all right. Thursday was a mental health day. Today I showed up. The rest of the weekend's mine. And I suggest you do the same. I love you guys. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. And you see how I'm showing up, giving y'all gems? You see the consistency?